Hey, welcome to Inside 8's Facebook Live, and I am so excited to be back. It's been a few weeks. Mar has been on Facebook Live. I hope you saw it, our resident health guru, yoga master, and she was talking last week about staying healthy. And now that I'm back, I want to wrap up this month. I took a few weeks to stay healthy myself, and it was I want to say it was super productive, where I felt healthy, I felt fulfilled, and what I can really say is that's a little bit harder than it sounds. Like, there's so much stuff going on at any given time. It can be hard to keep that in mind, even when you take the time away to do so. And so I wanted to talk today a little bit about what we can do now that it's the end of May, and the health focus is going to be moving forward to our June theme of fun, which is, always a good way to stay healthy as well. But I think that there's things that we can do in this last week to keep health on our minds throughout the rest of the year and start some healthy habits. I was just reading Julie's new blog post on the do's and don'ts, and I loved everything about it. You got to go check out her blog on the inside8.com website and read her blog. The title of it is To Do and Not to Do, but it's all about reading, like self-improvement and all of those things. And I think she gives some really great tips on what to do and what not to do. And the number one thing that she said is don't obsess over the do's and don'ts. And what I really took from that is how we can spend so much time trying to improve ourselves, figure out, do this work to make ourselves better. Like, we're always on a quest to make ourselves better. That's why you're here, right? And we can be overwhelmed almost by these lists, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what's good for you, what's not good for you. And sometimes it's hard to know what is good for me and what is a good balance of taking care of myself and taking care of other people. And I think there's two things that have helped me most. And one that I've talked about a lot is mindfulness. That is such a great practice of self-care and helps me when I start feeling anxious or upset or happy, even, to just take a second and focus on myself and focus on what is really happening and where it's coming from and all of those things. And like, that is such a valuable superpower, really, to be able to practice mindfulness. And the second is giving yourself some grace. I feel like that has been a theme for me and for a lot of the people I've been talking to over the past few weeks, that there's this pressure that we put on ourselves or we feel from other people that you have to do things the right way. There's what is healthiest or best, or the best way to work out, or the best way to be healthy, or the best way to eat, and it's sometimes overwhelming what's best. And I remember when I was in high school, I used to struggle with this a lot. I played volleyball in high school, and my team went to a trainer, and we had to write out our nutrition. We had to write everything we'd eaten that day, and we'd go through, the whole group would piece out, like, oh, you should have eaten whole grain bread instead of white bread, or you shouldn't have had bread at all because gluten. And I really struggled at that time because I would think, oh, I could eat this, but that's not healthy enough, so I'd rather just not eat at all, and that's probably better for me. And realistically, that's not the answer. Not eating is not the answer. And so I had to learn to balance, okay, if I eat a little bit of this, that's better than eating nothing at all. And this is what helps my body feel good. And really that's the balance, because there's a difference between what feels right and what feels good. Because, some things feel good that are not going to fulfill us or make us feel good, that indulgence or things like that. But there are things that make us feel good, that are healthy, and that do make us feel fulfilled or give value and are important in our life. And, sometimes those things are hard things. There's a difference between the sort of pleasure of sitting and watching TV for an hour and just sort of turning your brain off and vegging out, and spending an hour reading a book or journaling or in therapy or anything like that. There's a big difference between the workload that is involved in those activities. And sometimes it's hard to, when you've had a long day, to put yourself through more of that mental strain. But what is going to be more fulfilling at the end of the day? And sometimes it's watching TV, and sometimes it's adding to value to your life by doing self-help and things like that. And for me, I've caught myself in this past month as I've been trying to kind of wind down from the spring semester and get ready for the summer and kind of switch gears in this time of year. It's been a challenge for me to not be sucked in. I know Julie talked about this, being sucked into the rabbit hole of the internet, or sucked into Facebook, or sucked into like videos or things that are not feeling like they're adding value to my life, but they're sucking hours out of my day. So kind of reprioritizing what I want to spend my day on. I've read something before. We have 24 hours in a day, right? There's 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work, and 8 hours to rest or do recreation or do something fun or all those things. And when you break it down like that, I feel like there's just so much more time in the day. And yeah, there's days where there feels like there's not enough time. But when you break it down, I have 8 hours that I'm doing work. And so I can give myself some grace where I can spend some time to relax, or I can spend some time to spend with friends or do things that are fulfilling to me in a different way, because we need to, have some diversity in our lives of the things that fulfill us. Okay, there's my 10 cents on health. And I hope that you can take some of that and take it forward the rest of the year to maintain your health and your mental health and your emotional health and even your physical health. We try to separate those things, and they're really not separate categories. They all go together, and they all intertwine, and they're all important to focus on. Next month, I'm so excited about the next month theme. Fun, play, all the things that are enjoyable. Let's have some fun in June. It's summer. It's warming up here in Vegas. It's warming up around the world, and we are excited to play with you next month. All right. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.